Yo, what's up, guys? I've been getting the question pretty often. How about a non-Draken Warrior team? So I'll be showcasing, I think, the best non-Draken Warrior setup that you have. If you're missing any of these units, replacements I will mention. So in this case, we have a team where Seek is going for the attack buff. And we have a Momo in here, which might mean not everyone having that one. If you don't have a Momo, you could go for a Patrick. You could go for a Mina. You could go for any kind of good single target damage dealer. Could be a Chris, could be a Fami. Lots of good options out there that you could replace for that. What you do want to do with the speed tuning on this one is you want to have your booster into a Death Breaker, into a Nuker, into a Death Breaker, into a Nuker. That's just the main thing to it. If we're looking at the runes, we're looking at pretty low crit rate on them all because, well, we have the Seek buff over here. I did kind of do this by hand and it's kind of got a little bit sloppy. It's funny to see like a 275 on this while having a Fatal set in there. And of course you want to go damage on dark on all of them. Then we have this team, kind of same principle. We have a defense buffer into a Death Breaker, into a Nuker, into a Death Breaker, into a Nuker. I showcased this team before. If we quickly go through the runes, these are the runes that I also use for the optimization that I did last time around. Also for Team 1, you could actually go for, rather than a Seek, also for Deborah, but I'm not sure if that is more damage. If you have a self-sustaining attack buff such as Lucas, but then also in the form of a Dark Itadora aka Jack, you can also use that on this slot and then you don't really need the attack buffer and then you can put a Deborah in there or a Miriam if you do have those available. Then in this team, it's similar to the normal Kata team that I've been doing, but just showcasing a different version without a Shizuka in the case that you do not have a Shizuka. In this case, if you do not have a Jade, you can, I think, also go for a Math. That is an option that you could go for as well. So just showcasing a little bit of different teams. So let's actually go through a run and let's see how much we can do. I am expecting about, I would say a good 5 mil-ish. Good thing about Helia is actually that Helia in this case is very strong, where normally a Helia is not that strong in PvE because it started doing the S2. But since you're manualing, it is totally fine to actually just straight up use this unit because it's as good as it's got. Seek and Hwahi both in this position would work. Grosveld, I would probably not really recommend. So those are kind of the options out there for the Death Breakers. And then the main idea is still the same. We want to go for a Death Break into a nuke and then get our way like in the clears from there. In this case, we have the rotation going a little bit off. We have Death Break, or like we have damage dealers moving in front, but that's just the few early levels. Like few early levels, I've mentioned it a bunch of times. Main thing that you want to do is get as much in as possible for damage output. Main thing you never want to do is a Helia skill 2, because Helia skill 2 does actually not Death Break. And all of the other units do have the Death Breaks on theirs, or at least the Prilia does have Death Break on all 3 skills, so all 3 skills are fine. But on the Helia, the S2 is what you don't want to do. So on this, into that, we do a good bit of damage over there as well. I'm not too sure if a Deborah would do a lot better on this, but I do think so. I think it is safest way to go for you on an S2, because your S2 would make it just simply 100% guaranteed for Death Break. Skill 1 and Skill 2 are high on the odds of Death Break, but they're not a full activation on Death Break. And as mentioned, this one does not have a Death Break, so therefore you definitely always want to go for an S1 on this. And then you can just clean up with a Momo or any kind of nuker that you use. Patrick would work, Mina would work, Chris would work. There's just so many options out there that Fami would work. Also, if you don't have a Gojo and you want to replace the Gojo lead in the next team, then you want to be definitely looking at a Fami. Fami is the best option for replacing that lead over there. So as you can see, definitely good damage. We also have the max stacks on the Momo right now, which adds in a good bit of damage on that Momo already. And do we still clear on the single hit? Yep, we still clear on the single hit. So it's always Death Break, Nuker, Death Break, Nuker. And then sometimes you have your attack buffer moving in front. Like, those are the main things. Okay, missing the Death Break on that, that's quite unfortunate. That is the issue with a skill 3 on her. She can definitely miss. Oh, minimum accuracy that you do need is 85. Or not, no wait, 35. Sorry, not 85. Minimum accuracy you need is 35. So just always have all of those nukers on 35 accuracy, very important. Otherwise, you're just gonna miss your stuff. And that is not great. So let's see how far we get on this team. We still have 11 turns left. We're already on 900k. That's definitely not bad numbers right there, I would say so myself. Do we still clear in this full hit? Yep, we still clear. So Lucas is rocking in a good bit of damage right there. Like to see that. And then a skill 1er, Death Breaker. Can we still kill on this? We do also still kill on the Momo, so that's definitely good for still killing on the both of them. And then we go for your hit right there. Your hit right there definitely does clear as well. So this should be ending on like a 1.5 or 1.4-ish. Okay, good Death Break. This hit right there, 1.4, yep. And then this hit will not go for a kill anymore. So we're level 20 by this point on. Could have been a little bit higher if things were optimized a little bit better, but 1.4 mil on the first team is not bad. So as mentioned, for the Gojo replacement, go for a Fami, which is the archer that has 25 crit damage. That is the best replacement if you don't have a Gojo. All of the other units should be free to play, easy to get. So let's see, in this case, we won't start off with dealing too much damage. I have seen also people on this team, I have my full team on Rage. I have seen people also go for where they put the twins on, what's it called? They put the twins on fight sets, and then they have the damage dealers on the nuker sets, rather than everything trying to nuke and stuff. So that is just an option that you could go for. It kind of depends on you, what kind of runes you have and what kind of stuff you can work with. Too bad that we're not clearing fully on this. Also, the second team needs to have the best runes. On the Shiner, you always want to go as one. That's important as well. But yeah, keep in mind that this is the team where you want to have the best rune set, because if you don't have the best runes at this, the boss might take, or you might take 4 turns to actually clear a wave. If you take 4 turns to clear a wave, then the whole rotation goes to shit. That's kind of the name of the game. Don't make the rotation go to shit. That's just what it is. So in this case, we're already at level 25, and you do notice that damage is coming in a little bit slower right now. Death Break came in super late, but still good enough. And in this case, we're still good to go for the clear. Fami is actually also decent, because Fami skill 1 does do Death Break. So this skill can Death Break, but it's not the highest of rates of Death Breaking. But if you go for Fami skill 1, that one always can Death Break, which is just like if you're hitting the right element, it does Death Break. So that's kind of nice on that skill itself. And in this case, rotation is a little bit off every time, but I think we're still kind of good to go. That was a 3-turner, so always a little bit tricky if it goes down that far, but I think we're still definitely good to go. Death Break in there. Yep, good hit in this. Should be able to clear that still. Yep, still clearing animation. That's good. So we need about 3 turns to actually full clear things. I'm getting lucky on his Death Breaks. He's actually kind of low on the accuracy, so there might always be the option where he's gonna miss the Death Break. But you already see, like, I'm doing a 3.2 mil. Final team can do a good, like, most of the time about 2 mil extra-ish. Okay, is this going to be the rotation where we get messed up? No, I think we're still doing enough damage. That's why I actually like this full team on Rage rather than a set where you don't go fully on Rage. Because if you wouldn't go fully on Rage on this one, then I think you might miss some kill potentials at some point within every other turn. So for that reason, I like this whole team on Rage, and we have some good damage coming in from everyone that way, and therefore we still have the possibility to get like rocking in 4 mil-ish already. Let's see how much further we do get than 4 mil. Okay, so in this case, do have to go for this. This will probably not kill. Okay, so that's his first hit. He does have attack down, which is not the worst, but he gives me attack down, which is definitely kind of bad. But for that, I just cannot do as much damage on the final 2 hits, which is okay. We had like a good rotation where most of the time we had pretty good damage in, and we're clearing with a 4.3 in the end. So about a good 3 mil on this team, which I think is a pretty high one on that team in general. So then we have this team. Turn order in this case is going to be Hammer into Liliana into Katarina into... Oh no, wait, actually that has to be this way then. So Hammer into you, into you, into you, into you. If you go for a Kali plus Shizuka, it's Kali, Shizuka, then Katarina, then this. I think that this is a little bit safer. People told me this is safer because you're not as much bound to grades, because you can use the Ileana into this. So actually, I've never tried out this team in particular myself, but let's see how that works. So you do always want to start off with a S2 for the attack buff. Then you want to be putting this towards your Katarina. So you have the what's it called, invisibility sitting on the Katarina over there. And then you're kind of good to go from this point on. So in this case, you just go for cooldown decreases. into cooldown decrease. I'm not sure if I should do this cooldown decrease already. Maybe I should actually have not done both cooldown decrease in the first rotation. But let's just go for a hug in case I get a defense break. And then we go for an extend. And then we can go for a boost back on this to lower your cooldown. I think that is the main thing that you want to be doing. Lowering the cooldown on the Hammer Girl so she has shorter cooldown for all of the skills in general. You might get a little bit less of S3s off with the Katarina because of that, but I think it is still the best rotation you can do. So let's see. I think you don't have any skills available. That is fine. You do have your skills available. That is good. In this case, I think I just want to extend the buffs on you. We don't have any skills on this as of yet. I think we should have the Homunculus skill 3 available right now. So we have this just going into an S2. I'm not really sure if this is the right rotation, what I'm doing right now, but so far, so good, I guess. I don't know. It's just something for a tryout as well. So you would have your skills available. I think you have your skills available. So let's just go for simple S1. In this case, since both of you have your skills available, you would take a turn after that anyways. I could do on self and then S. No, I think I'm just going to go for an S1 in this case. It's kind of figuring out for me as well what's the best rotation on this. I'm not 100% sure about it, so you might find a better rotation on this than I'm doing at this moment. But wait, we still have the attack buff, right? Was that with or without attack buff? Might have been without attack buff. Yeah, that's actually kind of bad. I did not extend my attack buff well enough. So your S2 should have given more attack buff in that case, shape and matter. So let's go for this. Attack buff. Yes, sir. It really still kind of depends on like how many grades you get and that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely pretty sure I'm messing up this rotation. I have not had that much experience with this rotation as of this far. And I'm also not sure if you should be full on spamming all your skills. So you have your S3 available again. Let's just spam S3s because I think this is kind of the position where you can more or less spam S3s a little bit more rather than the other team. I think it is a waste to do this right now on a 3, so let's just go for this, because we do already have this skill available once again. Yes, sir. I think I'm super hard messing up the rotation. At least it's a lot safer than the other Katarina team. But I'm actually planning for my final best run that I can do, maybe not use a Katarina team at all. If that's actually going to work out, I'm not super sure about just yet, but we shall see about that in the first place. So we have some more cooldowns coming in. And yes, sir, always more cooldowns. Death break it? No death break, too bad. Okay, this. I'm just gonna spam. Maybe it's a rotation where you can actually spam all your skills all the time. I am not too sure. Maybe I should have, because you have 3 resetters right now, rather than the other team which only has 2. So I think that maybe might have been the issue that I've been doing wrong. That I should have been just always spamming the S3s throughout all the time. Or maybe just not on the first rotation. I'm not too sure. Like, I should definitely give this team a little bit more try. So that's also definitely where you want to have these kind of teams just for a bit of a tryout first. Just to see like how things work out for you and what kind of rotation is best. This team is not doing as much damage. Well, actually, I was aiming 5 to 6 mil. So I'm thinking about like the team that I'm normally doing with like way more damage. But then I was like, wait, no, I actually don't have to do that much damage. I'm aiming for like a 3 mil-ish. Let's just give you right now. Well, either how this is my final hit. So I can get a 6.3. Well, this is going to be 6.5-ish maybe. How much is this? 6.6 without a Drakan Warrior team. So it's definitely not crazy good, but 6.6 is definitely enough for you to get your G3 rank. Like, I've seen people get like 2 mil-ish, and that's still a G.3, or like 3.3. No, wait. I've seen people do a G2, and they had like 3 mil or so. So this is definitely enough. I probably did mess up the rotation somewhere where you could absolutely get higher, but the Team 1 and Team 2 actually do a good bit of damage. I did really maximize the living shit out of this team with a lot of good rage runes. This team can definitely do higher if you do it with the right rotation. I've seen this team do about like 2.5, maybe 3 mil-ish. I think I really messed up rotations at some point. But yeah, that's kind of the teams that I do highly recommend. Once again, if we're talking replacements, Momo replaced by Patrick or a Chris or a Fami. This one, if you don't have it for the elite, definitely go for Fami over there. If you don't have a Jade, just simply go for a Math. All of the other units are free to play because these two are HOHs, I'm pretty sure about. Otherwise, just go for Kali, Shizuka, and definitely then still go for the Hammer Girl. And these are all kind of units that everyone should have. So that is about that, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. On the Friday stream, I will be going for the maximum amount of temp that I can do on my account, because currently I'm still sitting at the 10.3. I have 3 entries. Then it will be 3 days later, so I will get another 3 entries. I will have 6 entries, and then we're gonna see if I can do better than the current state that I'm having. But I am having some different kind of teams with the Drakan Warrior that I might want to go for a setup, but we will see how far that goes, guys. Thanks a lot for watching this one, and see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab for the guide video archive, which contains all of the guides that you might need. Hope to see you there.